Hey, good Friday morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update, and we got a lot to talk about here, so let's get right on into it. I'll give you the human summary. Today's snow, mostly light for most of us, but in some lake effect areas, basically along the Lake Michigan shoreline, all the way from southern Lake Michigan up through the Traverse City area, up to Petoskey. 3 to 7 inches of heavy lake effect today. Elsewhere, 1 or 2 inches. I'll show you that too. We do have some freezing drizzle. I'm going to show you the radar, and an area of snow has moved off to the east, and now we're kind of in a lull in places, and freezing drizzle is occurring there. That occurs because what we call the cloud condensation nuclei that make the snowflakes kind of strip away, and you can still get drizzle. You can still get water in the air with cold temperatures. So be careful with that because that's sneaky. And then Monday is something that I'm starting to watch that I think could be a pretty nasty day, a pretty dangerous day that you may want to start rearranging your travel plans for Monday. Chip shot 124, seeing cornices on a lot of houses in Oakland County. Cornices, I kind of know what that is, but explain that a little bit more. So here's the radar. So some light snow moving out of the thumb, moving out of the northeast, and then in that area where you don't see anything, that's where the freezing drizzle is being reported. I haven't seen it in the southeast part of the state, but I would say that Lansing, Flint, and Saginaw could have it too, so be careful there. And then the main batch of snow starting to move in. So here's the radar forecast. Now remember, I always have to remind people that because the models now look so realistic, almost like a real radar, this isn't real radar. This is a modeling of the atmosphere. Let me hit refresh because remember, rapid refresh. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, everybody always tries to call me when I go on the air. Even my mom. She's like, yeah, I'm watching you right now. I'm trying to call. Well, yeah, that's why I'm working. Okay, radar forecast. So this area of light snow going to move across the state. This is just a second. Here we go. Okay, so this is 1 o'clock this afternoon. So in the eastern side of the state, we're going to get another batch of pretty solid but light snow. This is a 1 or 2 incher through the afternoon and evening hours. And then as we go into the afternoon or evening hours, it becomes more spotty, but watch the heavy lake effect develop in an odd kind of shape from around Muskegon northeast toward Big Rapids. Really odd spot. Fans out and into Grand Rapids, into Big Rapids tomorrow. And as we go into tomorrow afternoon, a lot of places won't have much snow tomorrow if you're away from the Lake Michigan. But if you're near it, you can be one of these heavy bands. Now we go into Saturday night, and we're at Sunday morning. Note the next storm system off to the west, and that's the one that brings the true Arctic air. So here's the snowfall today through dark. Ann Arbor, Detroit, less than an inch probably. Jackson, Flint, an inch. Lansing, an inch. Get to Saginaw, Grand Rapids, 1 to 2 inches. And that heavier batch, again, Muskegon up to Big Rapids, north of Grand Rapids. We go through the night tonight and into tomorrow, and that odd almost west-southwest lake effect continues. So Muskegon, you're going to get it hard. You're going to get 6 to 12 inches, and it could be a little bit heavier even inland toward Big Rapids. And then surrounding that, a couple of inches. So, and the outlier, Detroit area, Ann Arbor, far southeast, Monroe, probably less than an inch. So, then the next storm system. Okay, we're getting a food a restaurant report too from Carter. Good morning from lovely downtown Clarkston and 2 South Branch House where the maple syrup is real and the coffee flows freely. Okay, good. Chip Shot says cornices are snow overhangs on roofs caused by wind. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now. Those are cool. Yes. All right, so this is another model. This is this afternoon and this evening, snow showery. This is tomorrow. It also hangs on to that southwest-west dominant band around Muskegon coming across the center of the state. So really an odd type lake effect. Now this is Saturday night, and Traverse City and Grand Rapids and all the west side of the state, you just continue to get it. And this is 1 p.m. Sunday. There's your Arctic front and next Alberta Clipper, which we pick up with the European on. And I want to show you Monday. Okay, the one thing I want to say is, my job is to anticipate things that might surprise you. So Monday, I think, could surprise you. Not now, but Monday, if you don't pay attention to weather, could surprise you to almost on the very dangerous side. I'm wondering if we will have a blizzard warning because of all the fluffy snow that falls over the weekend, and it now looks like on that Arctic front, we have gusts to between 30 and 45 miles an hour, especially along the Lake Michigan shoreline. US 31 looks like a road definitely to avoid on Monday. Let's get back to it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this isn't, a major statewide snowstorm. This is lake effect that breaks off and comes across the state. This is Monday morning. Remember my rule of thumb. For every 1 isobar in lower Michigan, we could get up to 5 miles an hour of gust, top end. So we're going to go with that very one in the very southwest corner. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Would be a 50-mile-an-hour gust by my just rule. And the models on the lakeshore forecast 45-mile-an-hour gusts, and a lot of places 35 to 40. So that's Monday morning. What does that say? That says Traverse City is really messy. Cadillac, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, all of the western third, and that lake effect can be drifting across I-94 into Jackson, into Ann Arbor, and the east side of the state has the gusts too, lesser snow. Now this is midday Monday, and it's the same deal. So Monday looks pretty nasty. Falling temperatures, Arctic temperatures. Now Tuesday is lesser wind. We're in the heart of the Arctic cold, and the heavy lake effect continues. Tuesday could be one where it comes across I-94. In other words, folks, our roads are going to be a mess coming up here over the next week just because of the bursts of snow here and there and the Arctic cold and the wind. Now we're into Thursday of next week and Friday and Saturday. Then we turn our attention to what I've been highlighting is we go into a little bit of a southwesterly flow, and indications are today that the Arctic air pushes so far south that it shoves the moisture south too. That is certainly a very common situation. We'll have to see if that pans out. We're out to January 28th right now. You don't see anything in the form of rain, and we're out to January 30th now. And one thing that the Arctic air plowing in would do, it would eliminate a major snowstorm in the Arctic air because the storms ride on the south end of it. Here's that European's total snowfall through Monday. And so you can see the western side of the state, all of the Traverse City area, all of Cadillac, all of Grand Rapids, Big Rapids, Ludington, Manistee, Pentwater, Muskegon, down to Kalamazoo, 6 to 12 inches. On the east side of the state, looking at 1 or 2 in Ann Arbor and Detroit, kind of the outlier, and Monroe, and then we'll call it 2 to 4 for the rest. And we go through the cold week, and let's just run it out 16 days. And what this shows is the snow just continues to pile up, a couple of inches every day on the west side of the state due to the cold Arctic air. So we are certainly into a real winter pattern. And I wanted to show you this. This is the peak wind gust forecast. So this is the weekend, not really too gusty, 20, 30 mile an hour gusts. This is Monday, the peak gusts. And you see a lot of 35s along the shoreline. US 31 along the Lake Michigan shore. Not on Monday. 131 a little better, not great. In fact, no roads probably great on Monday. You might find some dry stretches on I-75, I guess I would say. Now, here are the brutal details. Who cares about the afternoon highs? Let's look at how cold it's going to get in the morning hours. And for the weekend, not terrible because the storm system is around. The clouds are around. That actually holds the temperatures up. So we start tomorrow in the mid-20s. Not terrible. Sunday, a little bit colder. Not terrible. The Arctic air is in on Monday. Low temperatures in the single digits. Remember, the lake's still pretty mild. I'll have to check the temperatures for you, but we know they're 35 to 40 probably. So look at the west. Look at west of Lake Michigan. Wisconsin. Cold. Then Tuesday, the cold air should be here. Should be the coldest morning, maybe Wednesday morning, but Tuesday morning, I'm figuring it's anywhere from a couple of degrees below zero to maybe 10, 15 below zero away from the lake. Wednesday is still cold. There could be another clipper coming. And then here's what's important. What's important is there's a little bit stormier of a pattern developing for next week. Will we be in the Arctic air? So do we get a bigger widespread snowstorm late next week? The way you're going to tell is by watching me with the temperature forecast. If Thursday, Friday, Saturday have the temperature forecasts of below zero, that means the Arctic air is entrenched. You'll have lake effect, but the Arctic air is entrenched, and the storms coming late next week will ride to our south, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. That's common in the last week of January. Last week of January already, wow. But if it's not as cold, then that storm could be coming toward at least the southern half of lower Michigan. So we are below zero Tuesday morning. Here's Wednesday morning, Thursday. This model wants to build an Arctic blast next weekend behind that storm system, taking us down again well below zero. Now we're out January 29th, 30th, and really no let up in sight. As I look at the extended models, which we take with a grain of salt, some are starting to indicate at the very end of what's just slightly believable, some are starting to indicate that in the first week of February, the Arctic cold will lift up and let up somewhat. It has to at some point. So there's your update. Today, the roads are going to turn snowy. The weather is going downhill because the snow is increasing and the wind is there. And we have some freezing drizzle, so be careful. Saturday and Sunday, most of us know noteworthy snow, but if you get into those heavy snow belts, very heavy snow. And then Monday is a watch out for all of us. I'm going to be working this weekend highlighting that, but I want to just give you the idea that in general, Monday does not look like a great safe day to travel anywhere in Michigan. Snow showers, wind gusts over 35 miles an hour, falling temperatures, single digits, roads icy, cruddy. No. So adjust your plans if you can. If you're trying to escape on Monday, escape on Sunday before the storm system approaches. There's your warning from me, Mark Torregrossa and MLive. Thank you for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Have yourselves a great weekend. You'll see me at least at mlive.com/weather to keep updated on the changes through the weekend. Take care.